Uh, coffee time, coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right in my life. It's never a wrong time over crime to get what's yours and to get what's coffee time, coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right in my life. It's never a wrong time over crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on. Coffee time in my life. Coffee time. Feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.
I remember when sin I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, and you're working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. And I call you Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are.
What about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? No sound again? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Bishop Wiley, what's up, Pops? Good to see you, sir. I will definitely give you a call. Talked to Mary yesterday. I know Mama is having a procedure today, so I'll definitely give you a call. But good morning, everybody. Did you all at least hear the song that I played? Did that play? All right, so let me go through my good mornings again. Teresa Bryant, good morning. Nicole Calloway, good morning. Eunice Poole, good morning. Tina White McPherson, good morning. Latanya Dixon, good morning. Andrea Mitchell, good morning. Michelle Byers, good morning. D Mac, what up? Good morning. Bishop Wiley Harrison Tomlinson, good morning. All right, I think I hit everybody. Sunshine 1113, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Do me a favor. Will you invite somebody, share, tell them coffee time is on. We're getting ready to have a ball. We're getting ready to have a ball. I promise you, we're getting ready to have a ball. So invite somebody, share, tell them coffee time is on. So that song, way make, miracle work, promise keep, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Way make, miracle work, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. That song, it speaks to who he is. And when we speak to who he is, whatever we are facing, reminds us that he is in us. So this morning, because I'm about to get caught up here. See your future. Think big. If you were not on Coffee Time yesterday, you need to go back and watch replay. I'm going to say it again. If you were not on Coffee Time yesterday, you need to go back and watch the replay. I'm going to say it again. You need to go back and watch the replay. So if you look, if you look at the screen behind me, it's talking about, there's a message there. It says, win again, win more. So every day when we end the broadcast, I say you were born to win, predestined, predetermined to win, to succeed. You were born to win, predestined to succeed. In other words, before there was a who, what, when, where, God called you to win. He created a path of success for you before he created you. In other words, if we're speaking from what he has done for us before there was a who, what, when, where, he created you to win. You're supposed to win. And here's what happens. You come here, I believe, with the DNA of God, with the mind of God. And, of course, once you go through the channel of being in the womb, when that natural blood hits your body, you have human proclivities. There are human propensities. There are things, there are weaknesses that are in the blood that literally becomes a part of your DNA. So when you're born, nobody has to teach you how to fall out on the floor. Nobody teaches you how to lie. Nobody teaches you how to doubt. That stuff is in your natural blood. David said it this way. He said, I was born in sin, and then I was shapen in iniquity. Born in sin, shapen in iniquities. In other words, I failed the test before I took the class. It's kind of one of those situations where the cart goes before the horse. Before you can realize who you are, you've already been plagued with sin, and there's a level of doubt that is in you that nobody had to teach you. It comes because the blood of humanity has been tainted. It has been poisoned by the solution of sin. And we do understand that being engrafted in grace, being engrafted in God, we were born in sin, shaped in iniquities. But another scripture tells us that by grace are we saved through faith, and not of ourselves. It's a gift of God, so there's nothing you have to do to qualify. God influences the heart by faith through grace, and we make the decision up under his influence to accept him. And in accepting him, he purges us, he cleanses us. But this mind has to be renewed on a day-to-day basis because it is bound by the sensual connectivity of this world. We're sensually connected to this world. And I don't want you to get sensual connected with sexual, because they're two different things. Your senses is how you see, how you touch, how you feel, how you taste, how you smell. Those are your senses. And we're sensually connected to our world, meaning we're bound in this flesh by our senses. I'm able to see that you're there by my senses. I'm able to feel love by my senses. So being that we are centrally connected to our world, it's our senses that tells us where we are, what we are, and there's a battle between our senses and what we believe. So I believe I'm supposed to win. I believe I was born to win. I believe that I'm supposed to have more than I have, but I have to come against my senses because my senses are limited to the domain of this earth. My senses are limited to what I see. My senses can't go beyond where they are. They can't. I'll let you think about that for a second now. Listen, if that boy A-Train hadn't done nothing right, let me tell you what he did right in my life. He blessed me with some of the best coffee. I'm going to show it off for a second. I showed the crowd yesterday morning, even brewed it. But this here, Shadaba, this Don Pelo. It's Don Pelo. It's Don Pelo coffee. It's everything. It's amazing. And I get so happy. I'm happy. She makes me happy. Y'all seen Fences? When Denzel talks about his side piece and he says, but she makes me happy. Anyway. So we're centrally connected to our world, and it is hard, or it is challenging, should I say, to get you to believe beyond what makes sense due to our senses. So there's a faith in you. There's a belief in you. There's something greater in you. That greatness, that greater that is in you goes beyond what you're able to see, and it lays in the realm of your belief. I don't care what no one tells you. I don't care what anyone tells you. You are more than what you believe. So in order to get on the path where we are being governed by what we believe, we have to escape our natural senses. So we live between two worlds. We live between the world of our senses, and we live between the world of what we believe. Well, the world that we believe is greater than what's tangible. It's greater than what we're able to sense. And many people, and it's getting ready to get ugly, many people believe that in the world where they believe that they can create out of belief. And I'm not saying you're incorrect. I am saying you're incomplete. As humans, we do not have the power to create. Now let's talk about creation. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. He stood out and he began to speak, and whatever he spoke, it became. One scripture says it this way: I am the God that speaketh those things that are not as though they were. And they came to pass, because the creative power of creation is in God. Say it again: the creative power to create is in God. There is no scripture theologically that tells us we have that same power. Before you turn me off, before you get offended, just hear my point. And I'd love to hear if you have questions while I'm talking, or just put it in the comments and I will address it. There is no scripture that tells us we have the power to create. Most people, when it comes to speaking things out of their mouth, what we generally say is we're snared by the words of our mouth. That's one. Another thing that we'll say is life and death, or death and life, is in the power of the tongue. They that love it will eat the fruit thereof. But these are not scriptures of creation when it comes to us. There are two systems in which we live. There's a system that exists outside of us, beyond us, meaning it was here before you were born, it's going to be here when you leave. That's a system. And then there is a system that is built inside of you. Your personal belief system, or the cistern of your personal belief, exists. So the system externally, the system that is outside of you, works with or without your permission. A part of that system is where we get laws and principles. You have the law of gravity, right? Then you have the law of aerodynamics. Well, the law of gravity doesn't change because the law of aerodynamics is in existence. The law of aerodynamics is a higher law. And even though the law of gravity doesn't change when you step into a higher law, you're able to operate in the air above the law of gravity. Well, that's a system. Here's another system, the law of reciprocity. You're going to reap what you sow. So even if you don't believe in these systems, these external systems that have been implemented by God, they're going to exist with or without you. Meaning I don't have to buy into the belief of this system in order to get it to work. It works outside of me, right? No matter how you believe. You can say, I don't believe in airplanes. I don't have faith for airplanes. It doesn't matter. The system still is going to work. You say, well, I don't believe in planting and reaping. It doesn't matter. It's still going to work. Now, to come internally, this internal system, it's set up based on how you believe. In other words, things work for you based on the system that is established in your mind and in your soul. Right? So, certain things you believe, you put faith to, you can get action from. Because it's real to you. Another scripture says, as a man or woman thinketh in his heart, so is he. Meaning, this internal system is governed based on my thinking. So I can think that I am more, believe that I am more, and I become more because I'm governed internally by the system of my personal belief. This is why you have people who believe in divine healing, they get healed. You have other people who don't, they don't. Because that system is ruled and governed by your personal belief. You do not have the power to create nothing. But this internal system that you have, you can create by how you think. So it becomes real, or it becomes alive, or it comes into existence internally, not externally. If we had the power to create, if we had the power to speak, and whatever we speak will come to pass, that's a part of the creative power. If we had that power, I guarantee you I would raise my brother from the dead, my brothers from the dead. There's some other people I'd raise from the dead. I would also speak to Warren Buffett, and I'd speak to his wallet, and I would command it to come to me. This personal belief internally have laws and rules that it has to be governed by. You say, well, I believe, people say, I don't believe in God. That's fine. But he doesn't cease to exist. It's just that he's not alive or real to you internally. So you build this internal system of how you believe, and it becomes alive to you. All right. So when it comes to manifesting, I hear it all the time. You don't have the power to do that. I'll wait. And keep in mind, if you have questions or there are statements that you want to make, wait a minute, Pickett. That ain't what we've been taught. That ain't what we believe. Put it in the comments and I will address it. You don't have the power to manifest nothing. That's creation. Well, I manifested an idea that I had. So let's talk about that. You had an idea. You had an idea. And in this idea, you wanted to see it happen or make it happen. So let me got to give you some good stuff here. I want to read what it means to manifest. All right. The adjective is clear or obvious to the eye or the mind. The system's manifest feelings. That's used in an example in a sentence. Verb is where we need to look at. The verb manifest. It means to display or show a quality or feeling by one's act or appearance. It means to demonstrate. Okay. So if we had the power to manifest our ideologies, we have the power to manifest whatever thoughts we have. You know how many thoughts go through your head in the run of a day? There are millions of thoughts that go through your mind in the run of a day. If you have the power to manifest those things, then they would become a reality. You are limited when it comes to manifesting. So I had the idea to be on radio. You can say, I manifested that idea. You can say that, right? Because remember, in the verb tense, it means to display or show a quality or feeling by one's acts or appearance. So in order for me to manifest being on radio, there are some actions, connections that I had to make so that this thing can come from my mental, my psyche, into action, into reality. So in that regard, I can manifest an idea. But I cannot create. The radio station was already here. Even though I had a thought, desire to be on it, that thought was generated by something I saw, something I heard. If radio had not been invented and I had the idea of radio, then there are mechanical things that I would have to do in order to generate or make the idea manifest. But I did not create it, because even the person that invented radio, they used something that was already here and they collaborated it. They brought it together. There was a wisdom, there was an insight that they have, that if I take this and I take this and I mix it together, and then I use this frequency and I have a transmitter and I do this, then we should be able to talk and you can hear us on radio. But here's the thing. They did not create radio. They used things that were already created and brought them together so that radio could manifest. If you walk into a house, the lights are off, it's pitch dark. You can't see anything. All you see is darkness. Darkness is not created. That's all you see, though. Once you turn the light on, oh, look, there's a couch, there's a table, there's a chair. Well, you didn't create that. It was illuminated by light. Here's what happens to us. God downloads an idea into your heart or your psyche. That idea is illuminated to you. Then you go and try and find the necessary ingredients to make that illumination internally exist externally. But you didn't create nothing. I'll wait. I'm finna hit you again. God created man, but he formed the woman. Man was created. Woman wasn't created, she was formed. He took the pieces of the man and made the woman. But when it comes to creating the man, he created man from the dust of the ground. You need to know the difference. And the reason you need to know the difference is that sometimes we think we have more power than what's been granted. So we go off on this weird and goofy stuff. I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to manifest this. And you think you have the power to create by what you say. And that is incorrect. That's incorrect. Things can be illuminated, but they can't be created. There's only one creator, and that is God. It's God himself. I'm going to say it again. That's God himself. He's the only one that has the power to create. You don't have that power. So all of you name it, claim it, blab it, grab it, call it, haul it. It sounds good. It's probably good cliches, but no, you can't. Because if you had the power to speak and it comes into reality, if you had that power, look at how many things you've spoken. Now, how many of those things appeared? The things generally that appear as a result of your speaking are ignited by the thought of God. God has an idea. He plants it in your heart. That idea that is planted in your heart, he gives you wisdom or make connections for that idea to happen. But it wasn't your idea, even your career, your occupation, your gift. You didn't create that. You didn't. The scripture says that all that's good and perfect comes from above, whom the Father of lights. It says there's no variables, there's no shadow of turning with him, meaning he's consistent. So from the beginning he spoke, and what he spoke still exists as a result of his speaking. So your gift is a result of what he said not what you did. You didn't create you. You didn't create your gift. Okay? Now, when you understand that what manifests, what comes alive, what goes from thought form to reality are the things that are in your heart, those things were transferred to you from him. He downloaded it in your heart. Then he turned around, gave you grace to put action to what he said. Then he aligned the people as well as the provision. Sometimes miraculously, this thing comes together, and now the idea has manifested, but it wasn't you. It was him. I hope y'all grabbing this. So your success has already been written. I know you think, well, I began to market and I began to pray and I began to do this and I began to do that. And I know you think that you're successful based on the things that you've done. I know. I get it. You say, well, it would not have happened if I had not did it, Pickett. You're right. But the only thing you did was agree with him. It was his grace that empowered you to get it done. You could not have done it without his influence. You could not have done it without his power, without his strength, without his grace. So did you really do it? Or were you up under the influence of grace to get it done? You see that? And I understand what we say when we say we do. I don't think we should over spiritualize our actions, but I do think we have to give credit because there are others that have done the very same actions and more than what we've done and have not received the fruit that we're eating. I'll wait. So what makes or what has made your doing exceptional to the point that you are getting fruit? What makes your doing and your diligence different than the next man? I'll wait. Let me tell you what makes it different. Your doing is empowered by grace, and you are operating off of the Father's plan that has been defined in your heart, your mind. They're synonymous in their meaning throughout Scripture. And you're running off a script that you didn't write. He allows you to get the credit. He does. But you need to know. You need to know that what's happening is not a result of you. It's a result of him. He just included you in his plan. And because he included you in his plan, it looks as if you did it. You did. Now, what did that have to do with what we are talking about today? If you have the ability or he empowers you to execute or manifest an idea that he's given you, he empowers you with grace. He provides the provision as well as the people that need to be included in this idea. You generally ignite this stuff. This stuff comes alive when you put action to it. So when you put action to it, it comes alive and it begins to happen by his grace, right? You need to know that the same way you've done that or that has happened, some area of your life, that your future has been fixed for you to win. There's no failure in God, so there can be no failure in you. So, I love this scripture, and many of you love it too. Jeremiah 29:11. And if I was to have a theological debate, I'd probably take it from you, but I'm not. I want to talk about what it says. He says, he was talking to Jeremiah, I know the thoughts that I think about you. Thoughts of good and not evil, to bring you to an expected end. If the end is expected, fixed, predetermined, then if you do what he tells you to do, you never have to worry about losing. Losing comes in when we allow our mind, that is governed by our senses, to take the steering wheel and control the direction of our life. So now you're going off, you're going to do this because somebody else is doing that. You're going to do this because you want to prove. All of these hidden agendas in our heart, they hide. They wait for an opportunity to come to surface. And when we start moving off of those agendas, we lose. But if you stay true to the master's plan, to the script that he's given you, to the idea that he has downloaded to your heart, if you stay true to that script, in it is the formula for you to win again, and to win more. You'll never lose. It does not mean that you will not have things that you have to overcome. Most of the things that you're going to have to overcome are seeds from words that have been planted in you to create doubt and unbelief. Where most people lose, let me tell you where most people lose. They don't do nothing. They don't try nothing. There are a number of doors that you're going to have to push to figure out which one's going to open. Sometimes he'll tell you, choose door 3, and that's your key. Other times, you have to choose 300 doors to figure out which one's open. See, the way that it worked for someone else doesn't necessarily constitute how it's going to happen for you. There's a security that you have to have in you and what he told you so that you can try a number of things. It's not going to it generally doesn't happen the first try. And even if it does happen on the first try, there's going to be some challenges involved. There's going to be some challenges involved. When you overcome the thing in you that's been keeping you away and causing you to procrastinate, when you overcome that, there's going to be something else that you're going to have to overcome. Because there are 3 stages that you're going to always see throughout life. You're going to see death, which is the separation of a thing, the dying, the ending. Burial, which is the covering of a thing, the hiding of a thing, putting something behind. And then resurrection, which is to become anew, renew, refresh. Resurrection generally happens in the circumference of our mind. There's some idea illuminates that causes you, hey, I was doing it this way, but I got an idea. I want to try it this way. And then all of a sudden you try it this way. And everything that you've done now begins to work. Those are the 3 stages, death, burial, and resurrection. No matter what or where you are in life, you're going to experience one of the 3, 2 of the 3, or 3 of the 3 all at the same time. I mean, for instance, you hear people say that was bittersweet because they're experiencing resurrection and they're experiencing death. or bittersweet, burial, resurrection, or sometimes bitter, death and burial. You've got to learn how to manage these things. I sat at a table yesterday with Train and Gene, and we just listened to Train just talk. I tell people all the time, the boy is brilliant. He has a brilliant mind. And I looked at him and I said, young man, Train, that was beautiful. He was breaking some stuff down, just kind of what we do when we get together. And he was breaking some stuff down about some things. And one of the things that he says, what makes a zebra is its stripes. Another thing he said, all roses have thorns. And he is walking through, just literally going from idea to idea. And Gene is looking at him, and I'm looking at him. We are enjoying what he's saying. It's very fruitful, very potent, prolific, and profound. Just amazing. Just amazing. But then I told him to do something simple, and he looked lost. Not that he didn't comprehend. In all fairness, it was a misunderstanding. But still, you need people around you who operate on a greater level, or higher, or have a higher understanding, because a dull pencil can't sharpen a dull pencil. Most times in getting sharp, there's a pruning, there's a cutting. Doesn't feel good. There's a shedding. There's a shedding of mindset. There's a shedding, there's a cutting away. That's this death part. Removing, separating. Ideologies that we've embraced in the past and held close to our heart are now being challenged. And in challenging these ideologies, it causes me to wonder, to think, to rehearse a new way of thinking, which expands the capacity of my understanding and calls me to work, operate, live in a higher consciousness. But resurrection doesn't happen without death. You're not going to arise in a higher level of understanding until the old way of thinking dies and is buried. So it's the pain of separation. It's the pain of being pruned. It's the pain of being sharpened that causes something new to arise. But you don't get that holding on to old ideologies. And the ideology of name it, claim it, spit it, get it, grab it, blab it, grab it, call it, haul it, that's not real. When you speak what he said, it'll come to pass because he's the creator. And even though I'm speaking it, I'm echoing what he said. I put up a post yesterday, day before. And I said, when I believe in me, I agree with God. Believing in you is agreeing with God. Well, what does that mean? When I believe in what he gave me, and when I put feet to it, action to what he gave me, and I begin to implement his ideas expressed to me, it puts me in harmony with him because we are co-laborers together. We're joint heirs with him. So the ideas that he give me are the ideas that I execute. Now, I wanted to be an NBA player. I did. I declare I was Jordan. For real. That's what I wanted. I want to be Jordan. I want to have Jordan money. I want to have his stage, his platform. That's what I wanted. Well, that's my idea. That didn't match his. So I don't have the abilities that Jordan. I only have them, and they only exist in the hallway of my own mind. So they're real to me. And when I get on that basketball court, I'm shaking and dribbling. And in my mind, here's a Jordan move. But the results aren't the same because it only exists to me. Listen, you've got to see the future he gave you to see. And you've got to think about that future in the way he's governed you to think. Losing, procrastinating, doubting, those are not the thoughts that he planted in you. Those are the thoughts that are generated from this earth and from your senses. So you have to divorce your senses in order to embrace his thought. So I run after what I believe he said. I run after it. I run to get it done. Everything he says, I run to get it done because my security of success is encased in the script that he has for my life. And as long as I stay on script, he's promised me a win-win. That's See Your Future, Think Big. That's Coffee Time this morning. Appreciate y'all. If you don't have a church home, you need to expand your level of thinking. You like Pickett, you said some stuff today to challenge me, or Pickett, all that stuff you're talking about, I done heard that before and I don't want to hear it again. Okay. Both of y'all, okay, I accept. Don't be mad. But let me tell you this. It's what you hear that settles in your understanding, and it's what you understand causes you to become, and it's what you become that is able to make a difference in humanity. I want to take the time to invite you to Encounter Church, 600 King Street, every Sunday at 1 p.m. We don't do long church. We're generally in for an hour, but it's a time of worship. It is a time where God expands us through the teaching of his word. It's a time of fellowship. It's a time of love, and I want to invite you. I also want to invite you to help us financially do what we do and more. You can do that through the Cash App, $ sponsored Coffee Time. I need it. I'm depending on you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. You were born to win, predestined to succeed. There's nothing that can happen to you today that the wisdom on the inside of you cannot handle. You've got to calm down, slow down, be quiet, know when to speak, and listen to wisdom. When wisdom speak, you will always win. You all go have a productive Friday. I love each and every one of you. Have a great day. And always remember to think higher, speak life. Peace out. A-Town. That's what's up.
Coffee time, coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right. In my life, it's never a wrong time over crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on, coffee time, coffee time. In my life, coffee time, coffee time. Feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.